And so just to not eschew that power, but rather to embrace that power, for lack of a better term, I have a lot of influence, and I am excited to continue having a positive influence. For example, I was teaching a class recently, and there were about 30 kids in there. It was the English class on emotion identification, just identifying emotions. And there were two students in the front who were talking, and they were being disruptive, but not because they were distracted. They were just excited. They were really excited about what we were talking about. And so instead of calling them out or making them upset or doing anything that was aggressive, all I said in Spanish, amiguito permiso, which is like little friend, excuse me. And that's all I had to say. Just gently like that, with some force, with a forceful tone or like a strong tone. But that was it. And who knows how much influence that gentle guidance, redirection can have on him in his life. To know that, especially if, as a masculine being, that I could approach something so gently like that. Maybe he'll remember that. Maybe he won't. Maybe someone at the back of the class will remember it. But something I've come to know and recognize over time is that you can never really entirely know the extent of your influence. But,
Absolutely.
you know, yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes the biggest impacts come from the smallest gestures.
Hmm.
So the small
Hmm.
things matter just as much as the big things. Just being a decent, kind, helpful person, which sadly we are losing in today, like, with everything that's going on currently. But knowing that there's still people out there that choose to be genuinely nice and kind and want to, not feeling like they're forced to, and they just want to because it's who they are. That's really refreshing. So I really feel like the work that you're doing is amazing. Like, that is
Well,
amazing.
thank you. And, I haven't always been positive aligned. I've definitely made mistakes. I've definitely not been aligned with my best self as a human does, but, you know, I'm I recognize it, and I do my best to be my best now.
Absolutely, and that's where the inner exploration comes from, that good old-fashioned introspection work that, stop looking at everybody else and doing all that and turn everything around and evaluate yourself. That's where that comes from, and that's why that's vital, because
Mm.
if you don't look inward, like, how do you actually know that you're happy or that you enjoy doing something? Is it because society says that, "Oh, this is supposed to be enjoyable," or is it because you feel like it's enjoyable and it's fulfilling to you?
Yes. 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 Yeah, I relate with that really deeply, especially in the process of coming out of that really long relationship. I only knew myself in relationship, in partnership, and afterwards, I was finding myself in relational situations that were not very healthy for me. But I was clinging so much to the idea of being in a relationship that I was just succumbing to them. And then when I finally came to my own and realized, okay, I need to just focus on myself, it was this sort of decision making process of what do I like? What do I actually want to do right now? What is in my own best interest? Being able to ask that question and then having the discipline to follow through. Sometimes it doesn't require discipline, but sometimes it does. My being might want to do something, but my heart and intuition wants to do something else. I kind of think of it like painting or any sort of creative processes, a lot of decision making. So if I'm painting and I have to think about how viscous my paintbrush is, how I mix the colors, the direction I apply the paint on the canvas. And there are all these little tiny decisions that ultimately make up a beautiful painting. I would hope so. And I think of life is the same kind of thing. I think of life as that same kind of process of these little decisions that ultimately amount to the most desirable life I could have.